Welcome to another edition of the Cantina of Comics.
Today we're going to make a drink that will make you feel like rebelling against the Empire.
And we're going to talk about everybody's favorite Trandoshan bounty hunter, Bosk. Welcome to the Cantina of Comics. I'm Matt.
And I'm Kristi.
And we're making a drink today we're calling the Onderon Old Fashioned. What do we need to make an Onderon Old Fashioned?
So we're going to start with 2 teaspoons of simple syrup. So your recipe actually had a little bit more simple syrup than mine. I kind of feel like we should start with 1.
Okay.
About 1 overflowing teaspoon.
1 generous teaspoon of simple syrup. Okay.
And then a teaspoon of water.
Okay. Now,
putting
water into an alcoholic drink, doesn't that water it down?
We need to get a sink down here.
Oh.
So that we could have, you could just turn on the faucet.
You know, we need a lot of improvements to the canteen. I mean, we need like a shelf.
A shelf?
A shelf with,
so that you can put your toys on it?
Or we could put like the top shelf stuff on it.
Oh, that stuff, yeah. We could put the bottom shelf stuff on the top shelf.
Okay, and then put the action figures on the top shelf. Okay, very cool. And then how much ice do we put in?
You don't want too much ice.
Because that, once again, that's water.
Watering it down.
Okay.
Also, our ice cubes are very small, so that's why I use. Okay. So this is something that's new to us. And it's called, can you pronounce it?
Is that, I don't know if that's an X or a K.
It's An.
Angostura? Stura. Oh, Angostura.
Okay, bitters.
Angostura bitters. When you want the best bitter.
The best bitter.
Okay, so orange bitters.
What these are fruit, spices, leaves, bark, roots, and herbs.
Okay.
That are infused with alcohol. So they are basically alcohol infused with plant matter.
Okay.
Yeah, and this is the first time we've used this.
Yeah, now it calls for how much?
2 dashes.
2 dashes, okay. So
dash?
1.
Is that a dash?
I guess that's a dash.
Dash?
Okay.
Dash? Dash? Ooh,
okay.
I don't know.
Now, in this small bottle, there are 47 servings, and we just used 4 of them. So we have 43 left. So.
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of interesting. I don't know if we're going to use the rest of these.
We might. I mean, who knows with all the drinks that we are going to be making.
Yeah, I don't know, because this is the first drink that we had that calls for bitters. So.
Yes. Okay,
so now what do we have?
We have peach bourbon, or peach whiskey. I asked the other day when I went into the liquor store whether you could use flavored whiskey or if you had to use like plain, and they said you can use whatever kind you want.
Okay, and you can use bourbon too, right?
Yeah, bourbon and whiskey are the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Bourbon is, I believe, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, only made in Canada or Mexico. Whiskey is American.
American, truly American. Okay, so.
And then
So peach. Oh, it smells like a peach gummy.
Peach ring. Yeah.
Okay, peach rings.
So then I already had put a little orange peel in there.
Okay.
And then it's supposed to call for a cherry too.
For 1 maraschino cherry.
Some that have
a stem.
Long stems on them.
Have a long stem.
I don't even know how you do the cherry. Like, why does it? I mean, I get why it goes to the bottom, gravity, but you know, yada yada.
Weight displacement. Oh, very nice.
This is very simple.
Well, you say it's simple, but I mean, it takes a lot for the simple syrup. That takes a little bit of work. But generally,
you want the simple syrup to be mixed in with your.
And it looks like a very elegant drink. I mean, Don Draper from Mad Men would be very proud of this mixing. So. Yeah,
and then one of the recipes that I read said it's a very simple drink that you can sip on all day long, and I was like, why would you sip on it all day? Like,
what are you doing then? You're sipping on an alcoholic drink all day, unless you're Don Draper and you're like out of work.
Oh, is he out of work?
Maybe. I don't know. Okay, so here we go.
Oh, wait, are we gonna clink?
We're gonna clink. Okay.
Nice.
That was a solid
good.
clink.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
It's good. I like it.
That's pretty delicious.
Yeah, I really like that a lot. I can even taste a little of the cherry, but I love that feeling when it goes down your throat. It feels good.
Goes down smooth.
Do you like the peach?
I do.
Yeah, I figured you would. This brand is the brand that I bought that peanut butter whiskey, and
the Bird Dog.
Love that peanut butter whiskey.
Yeah, I could see sipping all day on this.
Can you?
You know, just walking around work.
Oh, by the way, this is keto friendly. Well, except for the simple syrup.
Okay.
But you could do like a Truvia or a Stevia instead.
Because it also calls for like sugar too, right?
Simple syrup is sugar.
Well, I mean like sugar in solid form.
If you don't use the simple
If you
syrup,
don't do it, okay. Very cool. All right. Well, yeah, we're gonna be sipping on this all day.
It would be an all-day thing because that's a little. Yeah.
Pretty strong.
Tight.
All right. Well, that's how you make an Onderon Old Fashioned. And coming up, we're going to talk bounty hunters next. And welcome back to the Cantina of Comics. Today we're talking about one issue, and that is Bounty Hunters issue number 11, The Great Hunt of Malastair. This issue is written by Ethan Sachs with art by Paolo Villanelli, colors by Arif Paranto. With the launch of the big Marvel Star Wars crossover event, The War of the Bounty Hunters, we have a one-shot, a self-contained story to tide us over until the crossover begins. And that is a story that centers around everyone's favorite Trandoshan bounty hunter, Bossk. This story picks up with Valance and Dengar on their way to find a carbonite-frozen Han Solo in a bit of a knockdown, drag-out fistfight. They soon come to terms, and the story quickly transitions into a story about Bossk and a few other beings as they're being hunted on Malastair. So I guess pod racing isn't the only dangerous sport on Malastair. We are introduced to Exum Jermit, a member of the banking clan who's bankrolled a group of hunters to go after the prey. And after tracking down Bossk, he quickly turns the tables on them. The hunted has become the hunter. And now here are my quick takes on Bounty Hunters issue number 11. It's nice to see a Mun, a banking clan member, who has a bit of an edge. Exum's hunters just look awesome, just don't get too attached to them. We see two Dug brothers, like Sebulba, who are on the hunt for Bossk, and they refer to themselves as littermates. We also learn a great life lesson from this. Never get between a Trandoshan and its prey. Never. We also learn that Bossk isn't really good at giving inspirational speeches to the troops. And we also learn that Boba Fett is a son of a Vrelt. What is a Vrelt, you may ask? Well, it's a small rodent that's native to Corellia. So you could say son of a rat? So what did you think of Bounty Hunters issue number 11? You can go to the Utini Discord page. Just go to utini.com/discord and then click on EU Comics. And don't forget, for all things Star Wars comics, you can check out the Cosmic Force podcast. back here on the Cantina of Comics playing another round of For What It's Worth, and a little imposing this toy is, isn't it?
It's large.
And in charge. This is the Kenner Death Star playset.
Okay.
Came out in 1978, and this was probably, I'm going to say, the biggest playset that Kenner built in the Star Wars line. It has a lot of parts to it, therefore it has a lot of parts that you can lose over the years. As you can see, we have it all decked out with our Star Wars action figures too. And now if you were to go out in the wild and find this, I looked at some completed eBay auctions on this, and if you were to find it out in the wild with a box, I could not find a sealed box that had sold. They were all open, but 100% complete. It had all the parts and it had the box. You're talking anywhere from $400 to $750 for that. Now, if you just have the set that's complete, that's anywhere from about $200 to $300. And if you had just the box, none of the pieces, just the box, $150.
Get out.
Nope, $150. Wow. It's pretty interesting how, like I said, how involved this is. Now, there's a lot of things that if you were to break it down into its components, that you could get anywhere from, let's say, $14 to $25 per part. Like these struts that hold up each level, there's 4 on the base, 3 on the middle, and then 2 on the top. Each one can go for, each strut, about $15. Okay. One of the interesting things is this is the trash compactor. See, Han and Chewie. Oh no! Into the garbage chute, fly boy! And then he, pops out the bottom there. But
what's up with the foam pieces?
Okay, so the foam pieces. The foam piece, stand up there, C-3PO. The foam pieces are the pieces of junk that was in the trash compactor.
Kind of looks like when you go to McDonald's and you're like,
yeah, in the ball of foam. Yeah. Now, it's kind of interesting. I can't really pop this out without. Some of these action figures are on pegs, some of them are not. But anyway, the original foam, like the package, if it's in the packaging, about $25.
Don't you? Oh, wow.
Yeah. The foam that's in there is the original foam. A lot of people are making like replacement foam for it, because these things, if you touch the foam that's in there, and I wish I could take
like
this
that
out.
Gum in your mouth out one day.
Exactly. They will dissolve. They will turn to dust instantly. Now, one of the interesting pieces that if you were to sell it by itself probably commands the most amount is the Dianaga. Oh. Now, when in Dianaga, in the garbage compactor, when our heroes are in there and it wraps around Luke and pulls them under, if you look at this Dianaga, I don't think it's anatomically correct because I don't see enough tentacles to wrap around somebody and then pull them under. But anyway, this is what they thought the Dianaga would look like. Because in the movie, all you see is the little eyeball that comes up and looks around, and then you see the tentacle, but you don't see its dorsal fin, you don't see its mouth under there. Yeah. But anyway, just this alone is anywhere from $65 to $75 because a lot of people, with all these things would lose bits and pieces. Now on this one, there's a spring that's underneath the cannon here that when you turn the switch, it's supposed to pop off and fall off. Now, for mine, the spring is in there, it just won't lock down. Okay. So, over the years, things get busted and everything. And then there's one little piece. This is a 99.999% complete set. Okay. On the original set, there's like a little hook underneath this section here with a rope. And it's just a little plastic rope with a larger hole and a smaller hole. And it's supposed to be the rope that Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia swing over the chasm, which opens up here. Somewhere along the way, guess what? I lost it.
You did?
But
because you played with it.
Because I actually played with this. But not to fear, I found one on eBay. Guess how much it sent me back?
$150.
Now, it's a tiny, tiny piece of plastic.
But I remember the other little itty-bitty rope from the other, I don't remember which toy, but the rope was worth like $75.
Yeah, $7. So
$7?
$7.
I said $150.
And with $4 shipping and handling, which it's not even barely. I have. I did.
You bought it.
I did. I went on eBay. And some of these pieces, because people are really getting into, collecting the vintage stuff, I've noticed that there's been an increasing gradual stepping up of the prices for all of these. So I wanted to make sure I got it before we did this episode and then it goes like $150. So there you go. For what it's worth, it is a Star Wars vintage playset. Awesome. Death Star playset.
Very fun.
And look, I even have a Death Star droid in it.
If I knew you back in the day, I would have totally played with this. play set with you.
Oh,
Yeah,
that would have been fun. Yeah, well, it's not too late.
Oh my gosh. Yes, that's true. All right, we need to talk about the origin story for the old fashioned.
So Onderon, the planet that seceded from
the Union,
from the Confederation and from the Galactic Republic during the Clone Wars, also was the birthplace of Saw Gerrera and Stila Gerrera, who then went on to form the Rebels.
Okay.
You know, the militant faction of the Rebel Alliance. And so on our planet, how did this drink come to be?
So back in 1881 in Louisville, Kentucky. It's been interrupting me all day long. In a place called the Pendennis Club, which was a gentleman's club.
Huh.
It was Captain James E. Pepper, who was a bartender. Colonel James E. Pepper.
So he was a colonel and not a doctor?
He was a bartender and an esteemed bourbon
Dr.
aristocrat.
Pepper?
Yes, that was his son, Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah.
Meet my son, Dr. Pepper.
Great-grandchild. Okay, so he was a bartender and an esteemed bourbon aristocrat, and he was said to have invented the drink in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay.
And then the drink recipe was brought to the Waldorf Astoria Hotel in New York City, and that is supposedly where the old fashioned was born.
Wow. So you'd think in Kentucky they would have used whiskey instead of bourbon, because that's like the birthplace of whiskey.
Just remember that it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just two different ways.
To some people it is.
Yeah.
To some people it is.
If you talk to Julie Hancock, it is not the same thing.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Oh.
There's my old fashioned with a Dianaga topper. Lovely sound, lovely sound. All right, well, thanks for watching the Cantina of Comics. If you like, you can go in and look at our past episodes of the Cantina Comic. Just go to utini.com/YouTube or youtube.com/utini. Where'd you go? And look up Cantina of Comics. And if you have a suggestion for a drink you'd like us to make, or maybe you have a piece of Star Wars Kenner history that you'd like us to go over, most likely I've got it somewhere.
Yeah.
And just leave a comment below and we'll check those out. So thanks for watching this edition of the Cantina of Comics. Remember, keep on reading and keep on drinking.